Serving their community is who they are because they love where they live. REMAX 3D Real Estate is proud to bring you Heart of Royse City, a video series dedicated to celebrating all the wonderfully great things about Royse City, Texas. On every episode, Dennisha Denney will share Royse City's story through the stories of the people who call Royse City home. This is Heart of Royse City.
Hey y'all, I'm Dennisha Denney, your host of Heart of Royse City, and today we're sitting down at REMAX 3D Real Estate. And our guest today is Miss Mary Johnson with Housewarmers. How are you today, Mary?
Doing great, Dennisha. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much for agreeing to sit down with me.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Well, I can't wait to hear your story. So we're on Heart of Royse City, where we get to sit down with people and hear their story and hear how they got to Royse City if they aren't from Royse City. And we're going to talk about what you love about Royse City. So let's start off first. Are you from Royse City? Did you grow up here? If not, where did you grow up?
Dennisha, it took me a ways to get here. I'm from Buffalo, New York.
Whoa!
Yes.
Oh, wow. What was it like growing up in Buffalo, New York?
It was great for 2 months out of the year. The rest of the year, there's like 6 feet of snow and really cold weather. So that pretty much sums it up.
Oh, wow. So how long were you there?
Pretty much my whole life. I moved before I was 40 years old. My sister was here in Royse City, and it was one of the worst winters in history. And every year is a worst winter in history there. And she had moved to Royse City, and she said, come on down, Mary, check it out. You visited many times. You love the town. Mm-hmm. Why don't you come and stay here and see if you want to move here? And that was it.
Oh,
and that was almost 30 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
So this really has become your home then?
This became my home.
Oh, so how did she get to Royse City then?
Well, she had moved from Buffalo, and she was living in Garland, and she was pregnant with her first child, and her husband wanted a small town, and they heard about Royse City, and it was only 1,200 people at the time, and they decided to make this their home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And it made an impact on you?
Made an impact on me, and then shortly after I moved, my parents retired. Moved from Buffalo, and they retired here to Royse City, too.
Oh, so she brought the whole pack. Is it just the two of you, you and your sister?
No, we have a brother that still lives in Buffalo.
Okay, somebody stayed back then.
Yeah, somebody stayed back, and we still have a family cottage on Lake Erie. Oh. So every year we're able to go up to the lake and spend time with my brother and many, many, many cousins.
Oh, how fun.
Because most of them still stayed in Buffalo.
Well, that probably makes you enjoy it, though, going back, and you get to pick the season,
so
you don't have to go back in the snow.
I love it. Always in the summer.
Oh.
Yes.
So what did you went to school, and then what did you do after that?
After I was graduated college, I graduated in interior design and worked in that field for a little bit in Buffalo. And then I started working for an ophthalmologist, and I became a surgical tech. Oh. And then shortly after that, Dennisha, I had gotten very ill. I do have lupus. And that was one of the other intriguing things for me to move to Royse City, because it was also about better weather than where I was.
Does it impact your lupus?
Yes, it pretty much does. Cold weather has an effect. Okay. And but coming to Royse City was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Did you know that would help you with your lupus when you made that move?
Yeah, I kind of did. So it was attractive for me to come and be with my sister. Right. And still knowing everything I knew about Royse City, very small, but I knew it was growing right from the get-go. Yes.
Oh, wow. So what made you want to go into interior design?
Well, actually, interior design, it was just something I always enjoyed. And then when I decided then that I wanted to go into more of a medical field, it was really a good thing that I did, because I think that was one of the things that helped me with having a health issue, because I understood it from many levels.
Right.
How to take care of yourself, how to have a chronic illness and still live a good life.
Right. So I don't know a lot about lupus, so tell me what that's about.
Well, really, it's an autoimmune disease, and it affects a lot of women. And shortly after I had moved to Royse City, I actually had started to have an even more holistic approach. And I was very involved with the city almost right away. I came to downtown Royse City one of the first days that I was here. And before you knew it, I joined the Chamber of Commerce, day 2. And day number 3, I was the Parks and Rec coordinator.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So that being said, shortly after that, I decided to seek some chiropractic help, and it was from a chiropractor that had just moved to Royse City and brought the practice.
Okay.
And I was able then to actually work for him for a little bit. So I started to live the more holistic lifestyle, and at the same time starting to really get involved in the community.
Right.
So it worked out great.
Now, does lupus also cause you to have extreme fatigue? Is that part of it, or is
Yes,
not?
it causes fatigue, and it also, there's a lot of pain involved, and it's just really a management of the problems.
How did you feel when you were diagnosed with that? Because that, I mean, that's chronic, like you said, which lasts your lifetime.
Yeah.
So how did you handle that?
Well, it was very difficult at first, but I think I'm one of those kind of people that kind of rolls with what you give me.
Right.
And I understand that you can't always overcome everything, but you can overcome it to the point where it makes your life comfortable and happy.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of work for anything.
It does.
And that's really what it is. It takes a lot of work to maintain your health. So even though it was devastating to me in one part of my life, it also made me realize that other people are going through things too, and maybe I can help them. Because that's another reason you want to join support groups when you have something that is wrong with your health or whatever else, even in your whole life. The support group really helped me too.
So is there a local support group here?
Well,
for
I was
lupus?
actually going into Dallas, and then through I go to Our Lady of the Lake Church, and there was a couple girls there who had lupus, and we used to just talk a lot and just share things with each other.
Right. And so what's it like day in and day out? I mean, you have to, you're so involved in the community, and you're dealing with pain, and you have a smile on your face, and you may be sitting there with pain now, but how do you manage that?
I think that's what it is. You just stay involved, and you just keep going until you're so tired you have to lay down.
I love it. You're like, I'm going to push
I think
through.
a lot of women are like that anyways, Dennisha.
Yes.
You know, we just go, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I think my leg hurt today.
Yeah. Well, looking at you, I obviously would not have any idea because you're so full of energy and so full of life. And so that's such a testimony to your mindset. You know, you're choosing to overcome that, to still enjoy life and live life to the fullest,
That's
even
right.
with that. And so that's a huge testimony for other people. And
Oh, yes.
that's a big diagnosis to get and to have to process. And
Oh, yes.
you've certainly overcome that in all this time. I love that you're taking the holistic approach too. How did you learn about the holistic approach?
Well, pretty much, I think what it also was is that I was trying to find, I had that medical background, but I was also trying to find something that when they tell you you're going to be on a medicine for your whole life, and then you read about all the side effects, or you see the commercial about all the side effects, you're like, there's got to be a better way.
Right.
And now I think the world has opened up to that mindset. And I think that's really what all it was about, was I was interested in something for the long run.
Right.
What's going to be for the long run? Because steroids and a lot of the things they give you, they help. They can save lives every day. But when you have to be on it for years, and you want to do other things in your life, because I've had many careers. Even after I had worked for the chiropractor, I had decided that I wanted to get involved with sales, and how was I going to have the energy to keep up with sales?
Right.
So, and at each decade, every time I get a little older, you have to make changes there too. So even that holistic approach, ebbs and flows.
Right.
And the sales I went into was going to keep me busier than I ever thought, because it was with Housewarmers, the welcome service.
Yes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's awesome. One of the reasons I got involved in it, Dennisha, was I was actually on the city council in Royse City for many, many years. I have served for the mayor pro tem, and at the same time, I was also the chairwoman for the Economic Development Corporation. So I knew that there was a lot going on. Royse City always talked about growth as I was here. Started out with like 1,200 people, and then it went to like 2,300. And then serving on the council, you know, when you're on something like that, a board or a council, everybody thinks it's in the moment. Everything you're pretty much doing is 10 years down the road.
Right. You're having to look at the big picture.
Everything that I was doing all those years ago was why you see Walmart here,
Right.
why CVS is here. And pretty much I was at a point in my life where when I heard about a welcome service coming to the area, it was a franchise. I had heard it was very successful, and it actually started in McKinney, and then it jumped over to Greenville, Texas. And they actually came before the city council and said, we really need someone dynamic. You're going to have a lot of growth. We're old-fashioned. We want to connect these new people right away to be good, solid members of your community. You've got a great base here, but how are you going to make the new people fall in love with your town? I was so intrigued with that. And I thought, wow, you know what? I was the only woman on the council at that time. Janet Nickel, our previous mayor, who we just had rolled off the council for a little bit. And I looked around and I thought, you know what? I am going to look into this. And sure enough, I sold for the company for almost 10 years.
Wow.
I searched them out. I sold in Royse City and the surrounding communities. And then about 11 years ago, almost 12, my husband and I were able to purchase 5 of the franchises. And we still believe in it today. And actually, since COVID-19 hit, we believe in it even more.
Oh, yes.
Because we understand all the new folks in the last year. They couldn't even go in and pay a water bill because the city hall was shut down.
Right.
I mean, everything that was going on. But we were the face at the door. We were able to deliver public information to them personally.
Did you continue to deliver to the doors?
We did. But what we did, instead of just going to the door, we would send everyone a postcard first to let them know we were coming. And they weren't just going to have an Amazon truck or a FedEx truck or the mail person. Somebody else was going to be there, and it was great.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
great. I bet. But they love to see another face and have a conversation.
Yes.
Now, do you personally deliver all of the bags, or do you have people that work for you that deliver the bags?
We actually have people delivering the bags. Through COVID, we did not have anybody over 65 delivering the bags. But throughout COVID, my husband took the initiative to go out, and I would ride with him most of the time and wave from his truck. Because, of course, we didn't want to get anyone sick. We were very careful with even how the bags were put together. But we sure got a lot of bags out because people moved.
They kept moving.
They kept moving.
Yes. That did not slow down.
It never
during
slowed
COVID.
Down.
Man, and how many people do you have? You have 5 different franchises. So
we have 5 franchises
that
service actually 13 cities.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Well, right now we're in Royse City, Rowlett, Rockwall Heath, McClendon, Chisholm, Wylie, Sachse, Murphy, and Forney, Heartland, because we serve on the surrounding areas outside city limits too.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because a lot of things are going on, especially even here in Royse City. When you take a look at the 3 counties, we only have the 1 school system.
Right.
But just a small town like Fate, you've got the 2 school systems, 1 county. So everybody's unique.
Right.
And we have to make that delivery to that door or that welcome bag fit who they are.
Right.
Who's in that household.
And you have to get it specific to their community. So you're trying to get community information to them. So what Wylie Sachse needs is different than what Royse City needs.
That's exactly right.
Wow, that's a lot to manage.
It is. And you know what's funny about it? I just love it.
I can tell you do.
I can just roll off and tell you about every community like I live in that community.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yes.
But you are that first impression to that community. And that's important because people move here from other places. They don't know anyone. They don't know what activities are here, what organizations they can join. And I love that you guys present that to them.
Yeah, and you know the really cool thing about it too? They could get their welcome bag this Saturday. And maybe 18 months from now, they need something else. And what's great about it is they keep contacting us. Then we send them to the chamber, or then we send them other places. Because what we found out, and we really learned during COVID, was just besides the bag, we need them to know about the community, stay connected. So we do get their emails, and we do have a community newsletter that's regional, and we send them coupons, information every month.
Oh,
so
you have the follow-up, so they know you're connected
the follow-up
and engaged.
And it keeps them engaged.
Oh, I I love that you do that. You were in the right place at the right time,
It all
sitting
fell
on
together.
council for that to come about. What were you doing before you took on Housewarmers?
Well, right before that, I actually had started working for that chiropractor
Okay.
because it worked for me, and it was a living testimony of this is how you can really manage a serious chronic disease
Right.
by doing things holistically. Now, did I walk a fine line between my other doctors and chiropractic? Yes, I did.
I'm sure.
A very fine line. And the fine line really was the fact that you have to keep up with all of it.
It really falls on you when you do that, when you have multiple doctors and multiple approaches and
You have to be your own
communicate.
advocate for
Yes.
everything in life.
Yes.
And your health, your family, everything that you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was it like serving on council?
I loved it.
Really?
I really loved it. I really have found out so many things about how many different hats that I like to wear at one time. I love the fact that I was in politics. I would not be afraid to ever go back into politics again. I love being on the ground floor of where Royse City is today and where it's going, helping form that economic development. I also am a very big person and believer, big education components in your life. And that's one of the things that I liked about council, because I was able to join the Texas Municipal League through our city. I was able to go to the conferences. I was able to learn more, and I just feel that was really important at the time. The previous councils before me weren't as involved, but the city of Royse City is so involved in so many different educational components for the council and for their employees. And I think really what happened too was being on the council and also being the chairwoman of economic development really went well hand in hand. And at the same time, I also felt that the big triangle was to also be very involved in the Chamber of Commerce. Even though they're all separate entities,
Right.
it's all about that triangle of business and building community.
Right. And
Because
you're
it-
sharing the same message and
Same
you have the same
message.
common goal because it helps everyone rise together.
Yeah, and that was really my thing, was getting things connected.
Right.
And I guess that's really why I loved it, because I was able to connect the dots and help the city grow and help make some really good, strong decisions. I actually sat on the council when we were actually the first ones that were able to get the overpass done here on Interstate 30.
Oh, wow.
And it was Mayor Jim Melody at the time, and I had served probably with, I think, 5 different mayors through my tenure
Wow.
on council, and it was really great.
What has your tenure been? How many years have you served?
I believe I
off
was
and
on the council. I was trying to think about that today. I think I actually served 5 or 6 terms.
That is incredible. And how long is a term normally? Is it 3 years?
It was 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
2 years.
That's a long time
Yes,
to
I served
serve.
a long time. And still, I think one of the best things that happened, Dennisha, out of all of it, and it kind of goes back to that education process. I was at one of the annual conferences for the Texas Municipal League, and it was there they stressed the importance of why a city should be a Main Street city. And I came back on fire because I thought, downtown Royse City is so cool.
Yes.
Because I left out a little part. There was a short time where I actually owned a tea room in downtown Royse City.
Really?
Yes, I had a tea room, and in the front was a craft mall, and it was a joint project with the city and the chamber to run the craft mall, and I had the little tea room in the back, and it was a lunch counter, and then I did little girl tea parties.
Oh, how fun.
So I saw the value in making a downtown really happen, because 90% of the people that were coming to my tea room for the tea parties were from out of the city.
Really?
They weren't local people. And I thought, wow, this downtowns are where it's at. So
What time frame was this?
I believe that probably it was Governor Rick Perry was
Okay.
the governor then, because his wife came to the inaugural kickoff of our Main Street. And I'd have to go back and look right now. But still to this day, I came back to our city manager at the time and the previous Economic Development Corporation chair. He actually was the director. Right now, our economic development is actually called community development, but at the time it was economic development. And I said, we need to make this happen. We need to find some money, and we need to get a Main Street manager, and we need to be a Main Street city for the state of Texas. We just need to do it. And they were like, no, Mary, after 3 years, you have to find money. The state doesn't do this program anymore. I'm like, we need to do this. And I was not going to let anybody tell me no. And I'm still on that Main Street board. We're only on our second director. Our first director was Curie Hollifield.
Oh, yes.
And Curie's a real estate agent.
Yes.
And the second director is Paula Morris, and she is just terrific. She actually worked for the city, and when Curie was going to leave the position, I walked right up to her and I said, you need to be the director. This downtown is going to go.
Right.
And going back to your original question, doing the politics, having the vision, here we are today.
Right.
And that is the heartbeat of our city.
It really is.
It really is.
There's so much that goes on in that downtown Royse City.
It really is. And it's funny, my whole career in Royse City, even owning Housewarmers, has been on that Main Street for almost 30 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
Everything I've done has been spun off of Main Street. I've always worked on Main Street, owned a business on Main Street.
It just keeps pulling you back in.
It just keeps pulling me back in.
Oh.
And
I'm so glad you were an advocate for it, though.
yes, and I'm very happy to announce to you
Ooh.
all this excitement.
I know. I'm like, wait, what is it?
That we just bought a small house right off of Main Street that'll be Housewarmers' main office.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes.
Oh, that's so
On
exciting.
North Elm, it needs a lot of work, Dennisha, but that's okay.
I have no doubt you could handle it.
Yeah.
How fun. So will people be able to come there to partake in your services? Like what will be there at the house?
Yeah. What will be there. And then, of course, we have to work with the city and the Heritage Board. It's in the Heritage District in the overlay. And I've got to give a lot of credit to my husband because he's there with me every step of the way.
Oh, it sounds like he's very supportive.
Yes, his name is Blair, and he's very supportive. And he loves everything we're doing.
I was going to say, he has to be, though, for you, number one, just to serve on council. That one piece takes a lot of time and energy and away from your family to serve in that capacity. And then also being on the community development board as well.
Yes.
Both of those take a lot of time and energy. So
yes.
I'm so glad you have him to support you and let you be you.
Oh, yes, he does. He lets me be me, all right. The only choice he has would be to leave.
And I don't think he wants to do
He's
that.
not going anywhere. And Ruth Sherry's my next door neighbor, so she's not going to let him go anywhere.
She will make sure of that. Well, let's talk about what you love about Royse City. I know we've talked a lot about it, but we're on Heart of Royse City. So let's talk about what are some things that outside of maybe of your service, but just as a member of this community, what are some things you love about it?
Well, I think one of the things about Royse City is, I would say absolutely the people. But it's just not the people. It's how the people treat each other. It is the way it's organized from the small child to the eldest senior that we have. For many years, I have called bingo at the Royse City Senior Center. And I just love how people can age in place here. And I think that's so important. It shows a lot about a community. And I also like the fact that, well, mentioning my sister who brought me here, my sister's actually the director of Meals on Wheels of the county. So she works very, very close with keeping these seniors in their homes. She works with the city of Royse City. It's got a fabulous senior center. And I just like the way that treatment happens. I love the way there's a respect for our parks and rec. department and how they have worked with the Boy Scouts and how they've worked with other entities such as the Rotary or maybe the Lions Club, any service organizations on projects. A lot of things have just been collaborative with this town that you can just be so proud of.
Yes.
The sports fields, even if it's just not the school, it's everything all together. It's really the whole package.
It really is.
It really is.
That is one thing I've really noticed about this community is how everyone works together.
They work
All the
together.
different organizations and groups and the school district and the city and the chamber.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see that. That's how every city should work.
It really is. It's very cohesive. And I've always seen it be cohesive. That's how I think it got to be so great today. And that's why I think people are coming from all over just to even go to our Walmart.
Right. Yes.
They said this is one of the busiest Walmarts of all of them.
I believe it. It's a great Walmart.
Yes, I'm like, even Walmart. But I just love the fact, too, that we have these services like a health and rehab center. And you can see all around us now, we've got a medical corridor that's going on around us to service all ages.
Yes. Okay, I have a question. Something that I've noticed about you and then also your sister. You have such a heart for service. Both of you do.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
I actually think it came probably from my mom. My mom's heart of service was pretty much before she was married and had children. I like to tell people, it's kind of funny, but my mother was actually a nun
Really?
before she took her final vows. But she had really a heart of service. She was kind of like a little bit Mother Teresa before Mother Teresa.
Oh.
But it was in Buffalo, New York, and she worked with children and teaching, and she kind of always kept that. And she was really, really big into teaching people about how to live their religion. She wasn't very pigeonholed into just being in one religion. She had this kind of universal belief, which I always really loved. And I think it came from that because even though she decided not to take the final vows, which we thank God every day,
Yes.
we wouldn't be here.
Yes.
My brother, my sister, and me. But I think that was instilled in us. Because from that very point on, we all would give the shirt off our back.
What do you think made your mom not take that final vow?
I think
Did she
pretty
talk about
much
it?
what it was, I think she decided and really discerned and really thought, maybe I'm not really sure. Maybe I do want to be a wife and have children. And lo and behold, she just about got out and she went to a dance at one of the Catholic churches, and there was this tall drink of water. And my mother was a twin, the youngest of 11 children.
Oh, man.
And her twin was born the day before she was, because he was born at like 11:58 at night, and she was born at like 12:02.
That's a cool story. They have their own
and
birthdays.
the twins were jitterbug champions.
No way.
So while she was in the convent, they weren't letting her jitterbug. So when she broke loose, tall drink of water was watching her jitterbug, and he thought it was her boyfriend. Well, it turns out it was actually her brother.
Her brother.
So when he approached her, he said, "Hey, what's going on here?" And she was like, "Hey, what's going on there?" And that was pretty much it.
Oh, I love that story.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah, so I think the convent was going to be long gone.
Yes. Yeah, after
Yeah.
that night, it was done.
Yeah, yeah. And their song then, years later, as they were married many years, was, "Can I have this dance for the rest of my life?"
Oh, that's the perfect song
It was
for them.
great, yes.
That is so precious.
Yes.
Mary, I've enjoyed our conversation so much. I need to ask you our final question before we
Okay.
wrap up. And I asked you to pick a number between 1 and 20, and you chose the number 16.
I
So
did.
let me tell you your number. Your question. Here's your question. You told me your number. I don't need to tell you your number. I need to tell you your question. I ask you your question. When you are 90 years old, what will matter most to you?
When I'm 90 years old, what's going to matter most is if I can still travel. And I can be on a cruise ship, and I can still be the bingo caller. Because I am going to keep going till I can't go anymore.
I can believe that. I can totally see you doing that.
Well,
at
Dennisha,
90.
my side volunteerism is also I take seniors on trips. I've been doing it for 20 years.
Really? Where do you take them?
The year before last, I took 54 down to Galveston on a bus, and we did a cruise for 7 days. I've taken them to Europe.
No way.
Yeah, if I can take them, somebody better take me at 90.
That's right. And listen, I love to travel. I can do that. I can make that happen.
Good, because I'm going to put that on you.
Yeah. You just call me. I'll be there.
That's good. I want a cake, too, with 90 candles.
With 90 candles?
Yeah, I want it all.
That's going to be a good-sized cake, but we can make that happen.
I want it.
You're going to blow it. Every single one of them.
Yeah, and I want presents.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Presents not for a 90-year-old.
What age do you want everyone to bring to you, Mary?
Let's see. I think I want to be 65.
65. Okay.
Yeah, because maybe I'll retire at 90.
At 90. What is retirement, though? You know, there's so much life still to give, even at 90.
You just become something else.
Yes.
You go on to the next phase.
Yes.
You take everything you like about who you were, leave anything you didn't like about who you were back here, and just go to the next step.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I love your outlook so much. Thank you so much for sharing that with us
Thank
today,
you for
Mary.
inviting me to be here today.
Absolutely. And thank you for all your service to this community. I had no idea. I was like, okay, this is Mary Johnson. She's with Housewarmers. I didn't realize all the things that you've done for this community to make Royse City what it is today. So thank you for all those years of service then and all the ones to come.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. It's in my heart.
It is.
Royse City's in my heart.
It is. Well, thank you so much for being on Heart of Royse City.
Amen.
Thank you for watching Heart of Royse City. This video series, which is designed to celebrate Royse City, Texas, is spearheaded by REMAX 3D Real Estate.